What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and today's beautiful project. It is another Ford Mustang. This is the Ford Mustang Drag. Absolutely insane. The 2000 model with a supercharged V8 in there. But before we jump into that, today is the very last day to enter the competition. Current competition is the 1969 Salem Spectre Fastback in honor of the Ford DLC, which is coming very, very soon. And the winner of this competition will get a free copy of that DLC on their platform. But today, up until 10 p.m. UK time, is the last time you can enter this one. The final winner will be selected by Evanor from the top 3 voted for by you guys. So whoever is the top 3 by the closing time of the competition, that will go through to Evanor, and he'll pick the final winner and let them have the free DLC. But back onto this Ford Mustang here today. Another little connection there, all the Fords. Let's look at some facts and figures about this one. This is obviously the 2000 Ford Mustang. It is the drag edition, modded in by Payne. It is fantastic. We got us from the junkyard, and it's feeling very, very, very sorry for itself. I don't normally get them from the junkyard. Every now and then I make a trip and pick up a couple. This was one of them. Did I get a good deal? I did indeed. 4,680 is what I paid, and I could sell it for 5,872, making a profit of 1,192 before we even begin, and I'm always happy with that. The engine in this one is the V8 double overhead cam supercharged engine. In the ending of the last video, there was a black box somewhere around here. I did that because there was something on there you're not supposed to see, but I have since removed it, so never mind. We'll just carry on as it was. The V8 double overhead cam supercharged engine is what in there, and that's what we'll be keeping in there. 1,493 horsepower from the factory. It's going to be pretty epic by the time we fully tuned this one up. So let's get started. Let's get this beautiful beast over to the car wash. Let's get it cleaned up. Here we are then in the car wash with the drag Mustang. Let's get it cleaned and see what colour it is underneath. I think I can see a bit of green in there. Definitely looks like it's a green. It's a very rusty green. Bit of blue as well, just for good measure. And that looks like an old hotel carpet, I'm not going to lie. But there we go. That is incredibly rusty. I think we're going to need a lot of work on that one. We'll get the interior done. We'll get it back on the lift. We'll get that big block of a V8 ripped out of there and start stripping everything else down. Now we can see this Mustang is missing a lot of parts. But does it have that oil pan? It doesn't. That's fine. It means we're not going to get drained any oil on us when we pull this engine out. There is a lot missing. Most of the exhaust is missing apart from one rear muffler just here. That's pretty wild. But let's get this drive shaft out first. Out you come. We do have the drive shaft. Well, it is in pretty bad condition. I don't know if we're going to be able to repair much of this. What is that? 14%. Definitely not repairable. We are missing a starter, and I will add that to my basket now so I don't forget it. Pulling out this big old gearbox. One rusty bolt in there. Out you come. And then we'll try and get that engine block lifted out of there. I haven't forgotten anything today, I hope. So let's go and grab that engine crane. Grab you. Over you come. And let's pull that supercharged V8 out of there. Or what's left of it, at least. There we go. Nice and easy. Then what have we got in the engine bay? By the looks of it, just a little fuse box, which is missing most of its fuses. We do have a radiator, missing its radiator fan. We're also missing a coolant reservoir. The air filter setup, all of that. ECU. Brake servo, obviously the rest of the fuses and the fuse box there. The fuel tank and the fuel pump and the battery is all missing. We don't have any liquids to drain at the moment because there are no liquids in here. So we'll get all of that sorted. I'm going to get the rest of this all stripped out, ready to go back together. When we come back, we'll start working on the beautiful Mustang's bodywork. That's everything repaired, replaced or upgraded, ready to go back on our beautiful little Mustang. But we need to sort this bodywork out. So let's just start tearing it down. And then we'll go take a look what's in the shop. Out with them front fenders. Anything here? Doesn't look like it. Windscreen, door. Then we've got a little vent just there. Out with that rear window. Rear panels. Nothing, nothing, nothing. That's a rear tail light. Nothing up there. Nothing on there. Nothing down there. Nothing down there. That might be it for the bodywork. We'll just get in and get that steering wheel out, because I'm assuming that's the only part in there. Yes, it is. And have we got everything? That felt very quick. 1% on there. And front end E. Did I miss something at the front end here? I did indeed. There we go. Out with that grill. Can't believe I missed that. But that is everything off there. We've got the frame at 17%, and I bought it for just over 4,500. I'm going to say 1,200. 500. Way, way off on that one. Let's quickly jump in and check out the body shop for this little Mustang. Now, them little vents I pulled off, you've got lots of options for them. Wide body, not wide body, Salem, all the different builds and modes and various different types of car you can have on there. So lots of different parts on that then. Then we got the exhaust pipes down at the back. A few different options for there. Black tips, liking the sound of that maybe. We'll see what works out. That looks like side exhausts, so maybe we might go for some of them. That might be pretty cool on it. We shall see. A few different front bumper options. I don't know which one we're supposed to have on ours, so we'll have a play around with them. We might be able to switch it up just a little bit and make it look a little different. Then you got all the different front ends. I'm probably going to go for the one that was on it with the horse and just the black badge on it. You know how much I like black badges here. Then what have we got? Another front end just with some lights. Not feeling that one. Then we've got the front fenders. A few different ones to play around with on there. We'll see what we're meant to have on it and what will look good. Probably not going to be the wide body, but we shall see. A few different hood options to play with as well. Liking this. Then we got tinted and non-tinted headlights. A few different tail light options and side mirrors. Loads of rear bumpers. We're going for the parachute and rear wheelie bar one because it's our drag build, obviously. Lots of spoilers to play around with. I don't know what this one is. I'm assuming that might be our drag spoiler on there, but I'm not sure. Wing spoiler delete located under trunk lid while... Oh, I see. That's so you can have no spoiler, but it fills in the space. Then we got some fenders. Then we got the fuel doors, obviously. More fenders. A couple of different rear window options on there. Then we got different trunks. We're probably just going to go for a debadged one, but we shall see. And then the windshield. That is it for all of them. Looking pretty good. That green's actually looking really nice. Now it's all tidied up and cleaned. And that floor no longer looks like an old hotel carpet, which I'm definitely pleased about. But we need to get ours all sorted and start getting it back together. Time to get all this bodywork back together so we can get this beast over to the paint shop and get that lovely livery on it. Now, I did go for some wide body fenders on this one, just at the front and, well, a little bit at the back, just on the wheels. Didn't go for wide body on anything else. Hopefully it's going to work out. Went for the Cobra front bumper H on there. Looks pretty mean. Gives us that chin spoiler. Looking very good as well. For the moment, we're going for the Mach 1 hood. I have obviously got the hood F there as well to see later on how good it looks with the livery on it. We did go for the tinted headlights in there. In you go and in you go. And we did keep that black prancing horse badge front end, as I said I was going to. Looking very good. In with the doors, just are what they are. Same with the windshield and the windows. In you go and in you go. Mirror, we just kept them as they were. I'm hoping they're going to paint. We shall find out a bit later. Now, I did go for the Saline fenders on there. They look pretty good. Just a little bit more detail in them. And I also went with the wide body Saline rear fender there. Looking pretty good. Just, again, a little bit more added detail on there. That's just what I was after. Nice and simple. Let's get the rest of this in. In you go. In you go. On with that mirror, Saline side skirts, and that vent and rear wide arch there. Then we've got the dragster rear bumper with the wheelie bar and the parachute on there to make sure we can stop at the end. The trunk, we kept it with the D-badge trunk, and we obviously, as you can see here, went for them Raxiom, however you want to say them, tail lights. They look very nice. We'll keep them on there. The rear clamshell we did keep as that big old drag spoiler on there, and I added some louvered vents to the window because why not? It looks pretty good. Over here, we've got the fuel door, and we just kept that as a little black one on there. And for the minute, I've gone for black tips on the exhaust. We may change that a little bit later on. I might want to paint the whole thing. As you can see, the rest of it's chrome under there, but it does look quite good with the black tips. So we shall see. I think that's everything on the exterior back together. We need to jump in and get the interior in. I'm in the wrong side. Just keeping it with the GW of 500 seats on there, and we swapped the steering wheel to the Mayan M3. I just really like that steering wheel with the flat bottom. I think it looks good. That's the only reason on there. And that, I believe, should be everything. We'll just double check. 93%. I haven't got the license plates on. License plate today. We went for my VM plates with a Must Drag. Little play on a Mustang there. Let's just get the rear one on, and then we will check to see whether we have got everything as we should do. 100%, 100%, 100%. Fantastic. Let's get this beast into the paint shop. Well, there she is, all painted with that livery on, ready to go. Now, this is a mix of two liveries plus some little custom details. You've got the special livery, I believe, going front to back with the roof blacked out and a couple of stripes on either side. We've added a little red border to them just to give them a splash more detail on there. And then some Mustang side stripe livery as well added in. And again, we've changed the Mustang logo to the red on there just to give it a splash more red. I think that's looking very good. We also finished the mirrors in a blacker black effectively. It had a bit of a grey sheen to it. Couldn't get it to go matte, sadly, which was a bit of a shame. We also give the same coating to that rear spoiler, although that looks like a bit more matte got attached. And we did also try with the louvers, but sadly the louvers look like they didn't work. They just look in that normal grey. It's still looking fantastic though. And if we open it up in here, that beautiful yellow floor that used to be green, and then we've got some colouring on the seats and on the steering wheel is there. Looking absolutely fantastic. Pleased with this one. Inside the engine bay, it's very yellow, but we've got lots of black and red to work with, plus a bit of that matte yellow as well if we want to. So this is going to be a bit interesting. I can't wait to see what I do with that engine. You guys probably already know because you've seen the thumbnail, but I haven't figured it out yet. So I'm going to crack on, get all of that painted, and then we can start getting this beautiful little beast all back together. There she is, all painted in the black, yellow, and red, looking fantastic. Well, we need to get the suspension all together. We got black shocks, yellow springs, and black caps on there. Everything underneath is either black or a matte finish, looking pretty good. So let's get in. Let's get started. We got no intercoolers to start with. Bit bizarre, but never mind. Front suspension cross member in the black. Then we've got the steering knuckle in a force chrome under there, along with the lower suspension arm as well. We've got a bit of chrome going on under here. Quite liking it. We got the steering rack in a black, the sway bar in that matte red, and then the inner and outer tie rod both in the yellow, looking very nice on there. Then we got that shock. Let's get you in. Looking very good. Liking that so far. Then we got the sway bar end link in a black. As I say, these parts can't go matte, so we just left them in the black, so you can't really tell. Then the knuckle cover in a yellow, with the front wheel hub in a black on there. And I've just remembered the bushing, so we'll just get them in quickly because I've got a habit of forgetting them. In you go, and in you go. Brake disc on. Then we've got the hub bearing, and then a brake pad, and then the hub cap just in a black, along with the brake calipers in that matte red on there. Just finishing that off. Looking very tasty under there. Quite pleased with that. Mostly black, splash of chrome, bit of red and yellow just to finish it off. Let's get down the back. If I could get down there, we'll use that middle muffler. And the rear coil spring drive axle, whatever you want to call it, in the black there. And then we've got the solid axle control arm in the chrome, along with the main knuckle in the chrome as well. Rubber bushing on you go, bolted up. Then we've got a chrome spring cap with a yellow spring and a black capper on the top. And then the rear shock in that matte yellow, looking very nice. Underneath, we've got a red leaf spring plate and then two red U-bolts on there. Looking good. In you go, and in you go. Then we've got the knuckle cover in the yellow, the hub, or the drive axle, should I say, not a hub, in the black on there. And then we've got the brake disc, brake pad, and that lovely matte red brake caliper on there. Just finishing that one off. Looking pretty tasty down the back as well. A little bit of chrome, a little bit of black, with some red and yellow as well, finishing it off. We're going to throw the battery in because we can, and I've got it on me. Nicely done. Fuel tank in the matte black with the fuel pump in the matte red. Just finishing that piece off there. Looking very good so far, but let's crack on. I'm going to get the rest of this all suspension finished. All suspension finished? You know what I mean. Going to get the rest of this suspension finished. Then we'll sort out the engine bay before we move on to that supercharged V8. There she is, all finished then in chrome, black, red, and yellow. Looking fantastic. What do you guys think? Do let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, do hit that subscribe button. But let's get on and get the rest of this engine bay sorted. Already got the fuse box in. Let's get the brake servo in up there. We've got the Type A Stage 3 ECU down here. Then we've got a coolant reservoir at the front here. And this is the only piece in the whole thing that is sort of like a metallic-y finish. The radiator in that metallic-y yellow. It's not overly bright and in your face like normal. It still looks pretty good. Radiator fan housing kit in the black, with the fan also in a black on there. Didn't want to do it over too much with some coloured chrome stuff in there. Air filter base in the black. Let's just get the air filter in and then the lid on. And then we've got some lovely matte red clips just going around the outside of this one. Just finishing it off. Under we go to get the last two in and in. And then that should be this engine bay all finished. Have I forgotten anything? It doesn't look like it. Let's have a look in there. As it is very, very yellow, you got the black spring caps just on the top, finishing it off. Slightly crunching in a little bit, but never mind. Big old bright red fuse box just there. And then that ready for that engine to go in and looking pretty good. So let's go and build that beast of a supercharged V8. We've got the block in a matte black. We've got the oil pan in that matte yellow from the body, looking very good. Let's start getting some of it together, though. The engine heads, they are in a black. Now, they are a bit of a shiny black. Obviously, the outside doesn't go a matte finish, which is one of the reasons why they stayed black on this one. On with the other side, in you go. Looking very good, though. Pleased with it. Yellow on black so far. We've got a few other colours to go in, or a bit of other colours to go in. Oil filter down here, just in the yellow. You see it's slightly different colour, but it still looks good. Alternator in the black. On we go with the power steering pump. Also in the black. Don't know why I said power steering pump twice. Just kind of happened. Fuel filter in a matte red up there, looking pretty good. And now we've got the innards for these engine heads to go. So let's get started. We've got 2 camshafts either side, 4 spark plugs either side, and 2 cam gears either side as well. Quite a lot to go in, so I'm going to crack on and get all of that done. That's that all taken care of. Let's get down and finish this front section. We got a timing belt in here and a timing belt in here as well, with a lovely matte yellow timing cover on the front there. Just finishing that one off, looking very, very good on there. The water pump is in a matte red in the middle, just to sort of go, and then the rest of all of these parts are in black, so I'm going to get them all in. There we go. That's most of the idle rollers in. We've got a little bit more down the front to go a bit later once we got the supercharger in. But let's get the engine head covers on. These are in a dark matte red. They do look very bright, but I did have to bring the brightness down to like 60 or something like that. Very, very low, just to keep it matching in with this red here. Looking pretty good. Ignition coils on the top. We're not worried about them today because they're getting covered by a lovely black coil cover on there just to finish that off. Let's get the other side in and done. Nice and easy. Bolt up this lovely big old bright red head. On you go. This might look a bit funny when we drop it in. I'm sat there looking at it now with the yellow and red. I'm not sure. We shall see in a bit. Supercharger intake manifold in the yellow. Then we've got the supercharger in the black on the top there. Looking pretty good. Fuel rails on either side. These are in that lovely little yellow. On you go. And then the throttle. Couldn't go any of the colours I wanted in matte, so we just blacked it out to finish it off. In we go, in we go, in we go, in we go. And then the black coil cover just on the front there. Then we got the serpentine belt, if I could get it, on there with a belt tensioner just in the matte black. Another belt on here. And then the last piece for the front is this last idle roller. Also blacked out, looking very good. Then the exhaust manifolds. I've kept these in chrome. I'm hoping they're going to match the exhaust that sticks out the back with the black tips on it at the moment. We shall see when we get this one dropped in just a little while. Let's get this all finished off. I'm going to grab some pictures. Then we'll get this beast of a supercharged V8 dropped into our drag Mustang. Time to get this beast of a supercharged V8 dropped into our beautiful Mustang. Out we go. Let's see what this looks like inside. Is it too much? Have I gone too over the top with it? Let's find out. The red on the top there looks absolutely fantastic. I think the yellow in the middle helps blend it in with the rest of the engine bay. And then that big old black supercharger on the top really just finishes it off. I think that looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Beautiful, beautiful work. If I do compliment myself so brashly. Let's get underneath, though, and get the rest of this all in. We can see the black-tipped exhaust going into the chrome pipes. So we've got to see how well that matches up with the rest of it. But first off, let's get this matte black gearbox. In you go. On there. Then we got the little starter over here, just in that matte yellow, looking very nice. And then the drive shaft in a false chrome on there, looking very, very good. Bolted up, bolted up, bolted up, and bolted up. Now let's get this exhaust in. All of this is false chrome, and I'm thinking it's going to look pretty good, but we'll get in, and then we'll get a look from underneath. If I could press go on that one, and then the 2 rear mufflers, which aren't really the rear mufflers, because it does go in. You can just about see the pipes there, so let's get underneath. Looking very good, very good, very good, and then that's where the actual piece from the bodywork comes out. And I've done a very good job matching that chrome. More importantly, I should say, Payne's done an excellent job with his chrome texture on this beautiful pipe there. Looking fantastic. Loving that from underneath, especially with the black coil drive axle on the back there. Looking very good. A few splashes of the red and a bit more of that chrome. Very pleased with that. Let's get it down on the ground, though. We've got the wheels to do. We got liquids to top up. We got windows to tint. Then we'll get this beautiful drag Mustang outside in the sun. Here we are then, all finished with the beautiful 2000 Ford Mustang drag modded in by Payne. Looking absolutely fantastic. We've made a few subtle changes. For for example, the wider fenders on there, which meant we had to put a bit of ET on these wheels. We will talk about them in a moment. That engine in there looking absolutely fantastic in the red, black, and yellow, with a little bit of chrome just on the exhaust. Loving that. But let's talk about these rims. I've gone for the Rim Retro 11 on here today, looking pretty good. These front rims are an 18-inch rim, 204 width, with a 40 profile and ET of 50, bringing them out from their original position, which was set further back here, out towards the edge of these fenders. Looking very nice on there. Probably could have gone a bit bigger. Down at the back, they are slightly different. These are a 17-inch rim, so a smaller rim, but with a 335 width and a 40 profile, and ET of 80 at the back here, bringing this one out as far as we can on there. Looking absolutely fantastic. Slight little customized livery on this one, but I do have to say a big shout out because this was all just taken from French Toast's original liveries for this car, edited ever so slightly just to fit what I was trying to do there, with the little red stripes around the outside of the stripes. Red stripes outside of the stripes, you know what I mean, and the little red Mustang on the door there. But let's jump inside. Love the yellow floor in this one, much better than that green hotel interior carpet we had earlier on. Loving all of the carbon fiber in here, making this car as lightweight as we possibly can. We haven't even got any dials, but let's start it up and see what this supercharged V8 sounds like. We have heard this one before. Lovely tick over on the grumble there. And then when you give it some gas, it's just got that real mean sound at the top end. Absolutely love that one. Sounds a little bit better with the turbo, but there we go. Let's get this beast into the dyno, see what its horsepower is, and what this one's drag rating will be. At the dyno with the Ford Mustang drag and its supercharged V8 engine, 1,493 factory horsepower. We've probably added too much to this one today, but let's take a look and see what the drag rating is. A gain of 1,806 horsepower, 121%. That is absolutely mental. Bringing our measured horsepower up to 3,298 with a drag rating of A999, but that comes as no surprise. I think what the biggest shock today is what is going to be in the drag tournament. What are we going to be up against? Is it just going to be all unicorns? Let's go to the gearbox tuning setup, but before I click into this, I just want to warn you, I've been working on this for almost 3 hours now. I've made about 100 trips back and forward from the drag strip to here to tune this, and this is what I've come up with. This is the only thing I can find to get this Mustang down the other end of the drag strip in one piece, relatively. Still with a little wall tap, I'm being honest. This is the best I could come up with this one. It's been a long time, and I'm getting fed up is the choice of words I will go with this one today. So I found something that works. We're going to settle with it. That's what it is. 250 kilometers an hour in first gear, up to around 700 kilometers an hour in third gear. Don't quite think we'll get that high. Fully tuned ECU, no carburetors. This car is too powerful. Let's get it on the drag strip and probably lose a tournament. Back at the drag strip, this time with the 2000 Ford Mustang drag. King of the Sands, 1 mile, A-class, pay the 1,000 entry fee. And who have we got today? Well, there's a big collection of unicorns down at the bottom. One of them driven by Country Thang. Then we got our friend, who's I cannot say, in the Ford Mustang drag. A couple of GT66s, another drag there. Then our first race is against the Dodge Charger 777. We know that's good. We've also got the Barefoot Ford F100 V12. We also know that's good in there as well. Zoomis is in a GT66 and a couple of extras at the top end. How are we going to do in our first race against the Dodge Charger 777? Let's go. Looking good, the Dodge Charger 777 in a black and white there, liking that. Not quite as good as the yellow, black and red on our Ford Mustang drag. Are we going to be able to win our first race? I don't think so personally with the gearbox tune, but it's the only thing that works. So let's go. Off the line, ignoring first gear and just changing into second as soon as you can, and then start accelerating. Do not try and turn left or right. You will just ruin it until it starts pulling. Then change into third. Then you can give it a little bit of adjustment. Lovely little wall tap in there. And we head across towards the finish line. I think we would catch that Dodge Charger 777, but we just can't get off the line quick enough. This car is way too overpowered to do anything good on the drag strip. That is my opinion. We're out in the first round. We just wasted 1,000 to enter that one, but never mind. I will go in and do 2 more randoms once this tournament is over. But there we go. First race down, 8.996 to the quarter of a mile. And if I'm being honest, That's my quickest time to the quarter of a mile in the few hours I have been trying to achieve this Ford Mustang to be able to drive in a straight line. And a 19.616 to the 1 mile with a top speed of 474 kilometers an hour. Not too bad. Let's go back and see who's going to win at this tournament, and then we'll do 2 more 1v1s just to get this godforsaken car over with as quickly as we can. Country Thang is still in the Unicorn. Our little friend is out. Who else did we have up here? Zoomis is still in. That's pretty good. So there we go. Ford Mustang Drag versus the GT66. Then the Dodge Charger 777 against the GT66. Then 2 GT66s going off against each other. And then 2 version 3 Unicorns just to bring up the pack. Let's see what's going to happen going through. Zoomis is through. The Dodge Charger 777 is through. And then we got a Unicorn and another GT66. Just bringing up the rear down here. Sadly, Country Thang was knocked out. Zoomis is still in, though. Come on, buddy. You can do this one. Oh, you're into the final. 2 GT66s into the final. Who's going to take the lead or the win? It is Zoomis. Congratulations on winning the tournament there in the Ford Mustang GT66. Our Mustang, terrible. Let's be honest. Absolutely awful. Could not get a gearbox tune to work on it at all. So let's go and do a couple of 1v1s. We're already 1,000 credits down, which is a terrible start. Let's see what we can do. Back at the entrance, we'll go to 1v1s this time. 1 mile, 3 randomizations. 1, 2, 3. We're against the version 2 Unicorn. Let's get into it. The 2000 Ford Mustang Drag versus the Ford Mustang RTR Unicorn. I know who should win this overpowered Ford Mustang Drag. Just on this side, looking good in yellow, black, and red. But I've got a feeling the RTR Unicorn is going to beat us. A bit more fine-tuned, a bit more dialed in, shall we say. Let's just get in and let's go. Off the line, pretty much ignoring first gear, just getting into second as soon as we can. And, well, it's only ever so slightly pulling away from us. We've got to keep an eye on it, though. It's going to pull us in a minute, and then we need to change into third gear, and we can straighten up a little bit. But we are in the lead. Are we actually going to win? I think we're going to win. Come on, little Mustang. Across the line. What is the time on this one? A 9.203 wasn't even anywhere near as good as our first run to the quarter of a mile there. Then we've got a 19.782 to the 1 mile. Again, still not as good as our first run, but the top speed was a little bit better at 475 kilometers an hour. 1 more race just to get some times down. Let's see who we got. 3 more randomizations then. 1, 2, 3, and we're against an identical version of ourselves that somehow has got better tuning. I'm not quite sure how that works. We've got absolutely everything performance parts on this one. Maybe they've got some 3-star bits. Let's see how we can do. That car realistically shouldn't even be able to drive with that much power. So let's find out. Let's get into it. Well, there it is. That's the base version of what we built today. And this is our slightly wilder equivalent. Bit more flair on the arches. Bit of a different front bumper. And definitely a lot wider wheels. Should be a little bit less power, but hopefully we can beat it, because that thing should not be able to go in a straight line. Let's find out. Let's go. Off the line, into second gear as soon as we can. And we're doing better than them so far. How long will that last, though? Are we going to be able to not survive a wall tap this time? Into third before we get the wall tap. Just about saved it there. Where's that Ford Mustang Drag? Absolutely miles away by the looks of it. Let's get across the line and see if that other Mustang even finishes. It did finish, and not that far behind us either. 9.194 to the quarter of a mile. Again, not as good as our first run, but slightly better than our second run. 19.757 to the 1 mile. Not as good as our first run, but slightly better than our second run. With a top speed of 476 kilometers an hour. This thing just got a little bit faster and faster in top speed as the day went on. But the one that we'll be using for our speederboard is its first run, with 8.996 to the quarter of a mile, 19.616 to the 1 mile, and a top speed of 474 kilometers an hour. Let's get back to the garage and see if we can make some profit from this Mustang. Well, there we have it. The 2000 Ford Mustang Drag managed to get an 8.996 to the quarter of a mile and 19.616 to the 1 mile, with a top speed of 474 kilometers an hour in that run. Pitting it 27th on the speederboard out of 54. I definitely think this one could have done a lot better. But yeah, just the horsepower was a little bit too much for this one, and I couldn't quite manage to figure out that gearbox tune. But it is looking beautiful nonetheless. Absolutely love that interior in there. looking absolutely fantastic. But let's talk some facts and figures. I bought the car for 4,680, and if you stuck around for long enough at the beginning, you'd have known that I could have sold it at a loss of 1,192. Obviously, we didn't do that. We pumped another 82,874 into this beautiful beast, getting it to how you see it here right now, painting it, tuning it, upgrading it, and all of that jazz. Total spend of 87,554. The real question is, can we make some profit out of this beautiful Ford Mustang drag? Let's get in. Let's have a look. Well, there it is now, all 100% complete, looking fantastic. And that engine ramped up from 1,493 horsepower to 3,298, a gain of 121%. Absolutely ludicrous. But our spend was 87,554. Can we make some money? We can, with a sale of 101,219. Leaves us with 13,665 profit, minus the 1,000 we paid just to go and watch everyone else on the drag strip. That's what it felt like anyway. Leaves us with 12,665 from this beautiful Mustang. Now, performance parting the drag Mustang is definitely too much. Way too much. Couldn't get the gear tune to work properly. Yeah, very hard. Wouldn't recommend it, but the actual 2000 Mustang is beautiful. There's plenty of other variants in there to play around with, and I'm sure you can performance part the rest of them to get them awesome. That engine in black, yellow, and red looks fantastic, but it is time to say goodbye to this beautiful little beast. So off you go. Thank you so much, Payne. Wonderful job. Link in the description below as per normal. What have we got up next? Well, something that I can't share with you guys, but I can share with it in a video. This is the Mercedes. We've seen this one from the DLC, the W124-500E, but this is a combination between Maltese bonus parts and my config changing there. You can already see some of the extra bits added on for this one, including some exhaust tips just down the back here, looking pretty fantastic. Obviously, that wide body kit looks awesome, but I changed a few bits in this one myself as well. If I could get back to the door, there we go. We swapped out the engine to the twin turbo A.K.A. engine, absolutely fantastic, with 1,025 horsepower, because the Mercedes from the factory were rubbish on the drag strip, so I had to stuff something big in there to hopefully make this one awesome. So we got Maltese wide body kit, my addition to the engines, plus a few other changes, and we didn't get a good deal. I bought it for 9,694 and could sell it for 7,750, losing out on 1,994. This is going to be for next time, though. But that's it for today's video. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button. 12 away from 1,000 at time of recording, not far off at all. Do leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think in the comments below. Future suggestions, definitely love to hear your guys' suggestions of cars we should build and what we should do next time we come to 3-star something, completely 3-star it. What do you want to see on the drag strip? Absolutely, probably destroying everything else. Have a beautiful day, whatever it is you're getting up to. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.